ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. Sudden death playoff action in the Junior Baseball League of Nassau on the diamond yesterday at St. Andrew's Field of Dreams. Our Amajal Knowles was there.
The Junior Baseball League of Nassau playoffs continuing last evening, and the championship games are set. In the first game in the Juniors Division, the Equity Trust Dodgers took on the First Caribbean Mariners in a lopsided but heated affair as the Mariners coach drew the ire of officials as he protested the playoff pitch count.
That ain't what he arguing about. He's saying my pitch on Saturday. So his pitch count on Saturday, he can't do it for the day. That's what he's saying. Ultimately,
the Dodgers scored 7 runs in the second inning, ultimately cruising to a 15-5 win. Coach Warren Lavardi Jr.
This is the first time in about 6 weeks that we actually hit the ball. We started off the season hitting the ball and scoring runs and being a high-scoring team. We kind of went into a slump, but we kind of broke out when we needed it most, which was best in the playoffs.
In girls softball, the McCormick Spice Girls took on the DQ Distributors, and this one was a barn burner that required extra innings. After blowing a 3-run lead in the 7th, the Distributors managed to seal the deal in the 8th with a winning run from Shekinah Sweeting.
It's a great feeling because I don't feel like I played as good tonight, so I had to redeem myself, and I saw the opportunity, so I took it.
To be honest, this wasn't my best performance. I could do better. For the next game, I need to tighten up on my pitching, throw less balls, more strikes.
The Distributors will face the Sports Center players in the championship series. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Amajal Knowles.
A lot of questions still being asked in regards to the National Baseball Stadium. A quick study was recently commissioned by the National Sports Authority in conjunction with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture and an international consultant.
What we were seeking to find out whether or not it made sense to go with option 1, which is to continue to build out that particular facility, which in our estimation would cost in excess of $25 million to complete, $12 million already being in the ground, or if we would look to go back to the original location that was recommended and create a facility that would not seat 4,500 but would instead seat within the vicinity of 2,500 persons, and put the surrounding fields in that particular location. Use the additional capital which we would have used on the original site, which would be a more expensive proposition, and build facilities elsewhere in the Bahamas. Baseball, in our estimation, is extremely important. We have certainly no less than 23 persons playing in the pros, and I'm sure that number has grown. And so what we wish to do is to present to the Cabinet of the Bahamas multiple options in terms of what could happen.
Following the NBA draft lottery earlier this week, Bahamian basketball phenom DeAndre Ayton now looking ahead to the big day next month, and he will have supporters cheering him on.
We will have significant representation on the 21st of June. We encourage Bahamians to not just watch it, but for those who have some discretionary resources, like members of the press, please come over and let's have a wonderful time. We're confident he's going to go very high in the draft. I don't want to speculate on where that is, but I think 1, and a worst case scenario 2, and 2 would be very interesting for the Bahamas as well.
That interest, of course, stems from the fact that the Sacramento Kings have the number 2 pick, and that's currently where fellow Bahamian Buddy Hield plays. That would definitely be history in the making. We have 2 Bahamians playing side by side, but regardless of where Ayton ends up, it will definitely be a different kind of ball game.
In his life, in terms of the work just began, in terms of playing hard, working hard, and preparing himself to play. It's not going to be boys, it's going to be men. Real men who are looking to take jobs away. So it's a different mentality, it's a different mindset he has to get going. I think he's ready for the challenge. It just is about just praying that he stay healthy, his body just, stay strong and ready to play and meet the demands of playing 82 games in the NBA. I mean, the talks are right now, this guy over to Europe is pretty good too. So he may go number 1. It just depends what the teams want. But every GM, every owner ready to give this young man his bank book. So we'll see what happens.
Still talking hoops, after graduating from the University of Texas last year, Shaquille Clear turned pro and took his talents to Switzerland.
I was actually in the best shape of my life playing pro ball in Europe this year, and wasn't really what I was expected. But you know, as a professional athlete, sometimes you have to make adjustments, and I think that would help me. That would help me with my first year as a professional basketball player. I had more time to work out, a lot more time to train. I had more time to watch film, and with the strength coach, when you have more time, he always had his conditioning or stuff like that. So I was in the best shape possible. I got myself in the best shape possible this year, and I was able to dominate like that. I was a double-double guy, 12 and 10.
Subvention is always a hot-button topic when it comes to Bahamian athletes, and in that regard, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture will host a symposium in the coming weeks.
There's been a multitude of appeals and requests that this program should be addressed, because when the program was first introduced, of course, track and field was the primary sport at that time. Our sports development has grown exponentially. We've had a number of athletes in varying sports excel and all requiring assistance. So through those type of developments, the subvention program has come under extreme stress. It's a limited fund, and you try to find the best way to manage subventing as many athletes as we can.
And that will do it for sports. Stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight comes back after the break.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.